So we are live again tonight. We want to talk about the Ty Thomas murder of Hailey Buzbee a little bit more. I know I've talked about it a couple times here. I've got a bunch of notes I took here, and it says I'm on low power mode. Hold on. Okay, we'll be fine. I actually had got my Facebook account was hacked today, or somebody tried to in Columbus, Ohio. How they got my password, I have no idea. I don't know how these hackers do it. It said it came up on an LG V30 phone. I don't know what that is. So I hit no, it wasn't me, and they denied access, but I had problems. I must be getting too old, and I avoid that word like the plague, but when it comes to technology, I used to be tech savvy. Now it's like when you get your Facebook account hacked and you say it's not you, or say if it happens on Google. It happened to me 3 years ago on Google, and I had hit yes, and when that happened, all my videos got deleted on YouTube. But with Facebook, they want you to download like a Google Authenticator app or something with 6 digits, and I've never done it. And when I do it, I did it last year, and it didn't work, so I never set it up with that. So it's all beyond me. I had to have my friend Shane help me with it, and he got it in like 15-20 minutes. I'm like, you're better than I am. I can't figure that crap out. But moving on, let's talk about this murder case. It happened in Fishers, Indiana, as you guys know, and Ty Thomas, he's 39 years old, and I'm going to put out another video with pictures to show you the house that he lived in, where she was at. In the whole town of Fishers, they've got pink lights everywhere because that was Hailey's favorite color in remembrance of her. And she was just a happy-go-lucky girl. I mean, people were asking the question, why her? Well, apparently Ty Thomas had communicated with her on several different like video gaming apps and stuff. Roblox was one. League of Legends was another. League of Legends has been around forever. I've never played it, but I have had friends who do. I've never been on Roblox, and that seems to be for like young kids. I didn't realize like older teenagers were playing Roblox, but I really don't know anything about it. But apparently he was on it, communicating with her. So these are some problem sites. You know, if you've got teenage children, I would really monitor them and not let them do stuff like this. Snapchat, and this is another one they did, was Snapchat. You guys already know Snapchat is nothing but sexual pictures. You know, when I was in the Army, all the younger people, they would always send the sexual stuff on Snapchat. That was the big one you had to worry about. Somebody's got a comment here. Yeah, so somebody just comment that they were locked up with him at Pruntytown. I can say that you probably were. I had talked to Shane about it, and he said that when he was in, he actually was locked up. I'm not sure if it was Pruntytown. It probably was in West Virginia, but he said he was in there with Ty Thomas, and he said nobody liked him. He said he was a piece of shit. I'm not censoring. That's what he said. He said he was a piece of shit. He said nobody liked him. So, you know, this guy, and like I've talked about up here, that we kept hearing Ty Thomas was the one who buried Gretchen Fleming out in the Wayne National Forest. Well, that's why this case is so big, and that's why I keep focusing on this, because I'm telling you right now, if we can get to him, or if we can call this into the FBI and say that we think that he is responsible, I think, personally, I think that he was working with Preston Pierce, probably in human trafficking, because we all know Preston Pierce was the one who was last publicly seen with Gretchen on video surveillance camera, and then you get into the whole police trying to hide the evidence from the public and not wanting them to search. It's really weird, but to stay on focus with this case right here and all the notes I've got on this. So his local charges, Ty Thomas, were dismissed. Okay, so he was living in Columbus, Ohio, 39 years old, and in place of those local charges are the federal charges. Child sex exploitation. That in itself is up to 30 years in prison if he's found guilty. You've got interstate travel for illicit sexual conduct. That's another 30 years. So he's 39 years old right now. If he's found guilty on both of these federal charges, and this isn't even counting the murder charge, that one's likely to come, okay? So right there, that's up to 60 years without good behavior. So add 60 onto 39, and you've got almost 100 years. He's never going to make it out just on these two alone. So even if the murder doesn't happen and he doesn't get out for good behavior, he's probably going to die in federal prison. Now, which facility is he at right now? I don't know, and the news agencies that have all reported on this don't seem to know either. This was 5-6 days ago. Nobody had reported on it. They just all said he left the Franklin, Ohio County Jail for prison because these federal charges are now on him. But what I found surprising was that FBI, CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, and Ohio County something or other, I can't remember, they got Ty Thomas to reveal the location of where Hailey Buzbee was, the 17-year-old from Fishers, Indiana. And it was in off a trailhead in the Wayne National Forest in Perry County. So let's break down how he did this, okay? So on January 5th, he met up in the overnight hours with Hailey Buzbee from like around the midnight hours into January 6th, right? He picks her up overnight. It's freezing cold in Fishers. Well, he didn't actually pick her up from Fishers, Indiana. That's where she's from. Where did he pick her up from? Fortville. He picked her up from Fortville, Indiana, overnight. So I'm not sure why she was in Fortville. It's probably pretty close to Fishers. My home state's Indiana, so I roughly know where these cities kind of are. But this is north of Indy from what I'm remembering. And then she goes with him. So you got to understand, she's communicated with him online. And how do you get a teenage girl or a young woman, even if she's an adult, to go with a guy that she doesn't know very well? They have to be thinking in their head, wait a minute, like red flag, danger, right? And, well, he stopped and communicated with her and met her June of last year. And it's weird, nobody's talked about this, but it was June 5th. So he picks her up January 5th, and he met her June 5th, exactly 6 months later. That strikes me as odd. I don't know if it strikes you as odd. It could be coincidental. I don't know. Maybe there's nothing to it. But 6 months to the exact day, he picks her up and takes her, and cell phone footage shows that he stopped at a gas station in Indiana, and he picked her up in Fortville that night. And then also, like when he met her in June 5th of 25 in the summer last year, he went to her restaurant and talked to her and met her there. I'm not sure which restaurant it was yet. But so now we've got a little bit of a pattern here. He's met her, now she's got a face to go with it. Now he's probably making her feel easy, like, okay, yeah, now you know me, now let's take things to the next level. But you got to understand, this guy's 39, she's 17. Okay, so we're going to get into the age a little bit here. So like I said, she was found in the Wayne National Forest, but let's break it down by date. So January 5th into January 6th, the early morning hours, he takes her. And then, let's see here. I've got a lot of notes on here. There was something about January 7th. Yeah, so cell phone footage. The FBI tracked a cell phone. And that's how they found her is Ty Thomas's cell phone was pinged at the North Country trailhead. That's in Wayne National Forest in Perry County, Ohio. Okay? The North Country trailhead, right off the trailhead. From 9:25 in the morning on January 7th to 2:15 in the afternoon. So we're talking roughly 5 hours, almost exactly 5 hours, that he is probably burying her body off of a trailhead. And then at this time, I think the snow had already fallen, so he's got to dig in the snow, in the ground, frozen ground. And then that's how they found her, is because they tracked his cell phone. So he brought his cell phone with him. And like I said, he met her online playing video games, Roblox, League of Legends. Now, he wasn't just her. There are other girls, and they are, yes, underage. So let's see here. He forgot to delete a picture of a girl between the ages of 7 and 10 years old involving child sex abuse. He's got a random picture of a girl between 7 and 10 years old, didn't delete it on his phone, and it involved child sex abuse. I'll leave that to your imagination. I can't even fathom what that picture could be, but they found it. And there was other sexual messages with another teenager on Discord. So Discord's another app you parents might want to be wary of with your teenage kids. I I've been on Discord before. I've hardly ever been on it. I've never personally liked it much. A lot of the young crowd, your early 20s, mid 20s, they seem to like Discord. I don't even like the name of it. It's like you're sewing Discord. So it's never sat well with me. I'm like, why do I need this? It's just extra. But so he had sexual messages with another teenager on there. Okay. And then there was, that teenager was reputedly in the 10th grade, and in separate conversations, so two different conversations, the first time he stated he was having depraved gore thoughts to her. And those are quotes, depraved gore thoughts. Like they actually got that message to this girl in 10th grade that Ty Thomas is saying, hey, I'm having depraved gore thoughts. And then in another message, he puts very dark but stimulating thoughts. So it was a couple days later. He said, I'm having very dark but stimulating thoughts. This is sick, man. And that was in December. This is all recent. So he also used a secure messaging app called Session. I've never heard of this before. I've heard of Signal. The Army uses Signal. It's so you can't be tracked on the battlefield by your adversaries. It's very secret on your GPS and all that stuff. And then there's also Telegram. I have Telegram. I don't use it much anymore. I used to. That was how we got to finding a lot of information. But Session, I've never heard of Session. Well, apparently Ty Thomas has, because he's used it. And this is how he was hiding his digital footprint. So conversations and pictures, sexual innuendo, he was hiding all that on that app called Session. Okay, so now detectives, when they had pinged his cell phone location on January 21st, they had asked Ty Thomas if he killed her, and these are quotes. He goes, I think she is alive and safe, and then they cut him off, and they asked if he would tell if he had killed her, and he said that he wouldn't tell them if he had killed her. So he has not admitted to murdering her, but he did take them out to the location where the cell phone betrayed him, so to speak, and they did dig her up and he had dismembered her body. I know this is very hard for you locals and the family that's out there associated with her, you know, all the people local to that area. And I've been saying all along, because our drug community said that Ty Thomas was the one who buried Gretchen in a drum out on the Wayne National Forest. So I just think that we need to make more of a reach with FBI. I've called Pittsburgh a third time, first time on this case, and they haven't contacted back. So there is FBI Cincinnati Special Agent in charge, Jason Cromartie. He's the one from Cincinnati who's been leading this case. And I think that maybe I need to make a call to him, because I don't know for fact, but a couple more details on this before I move on to the Chelsea Snyder account that I've been talking about. So let's see. I talked about how he picked her up from January 5th to the 6th in Fortville. He engaged in illicit sex, including child pornography. So he had most likely pictures of Hailey Buzbee in sexual poses and nudity on his phone. He was probably trying to sell this child pornography. It's not just on his phone, probably not. He's probably trying to make money from this. I mean, this is all sick, but let's see. Snapchat, that was the big one. He had deleted messages on there. And oh yeah, haven't talked about this yet. So he had taken her to his Columbus home. The cell phone did reveal that location, and then after that they went to an Airbnb rental in Logan, Ohio. So you guys from Parkersburg, you know where Logan, Ohio is. That's not very far from us. It's as you're going down on US 33 and from Columbus down south to West Virginia. And as he's at this Airbnb rental in Logan, Ohio, he actually probably, I'm assuming, probably did the deed there. It's hard to say for sure, but I would say so. And then he migrated the next county over from Hocking County to Perry County, in which he had buried her dismembered remains off that North Country Trail trailhead on January 7th from 9:25 to 2:15 in the afternoon. So we're not talking about a big time frame at all. I mean, he did what he did, and he was trying to hide the evidence literally the next day, the next morning. So we're talking about roughly a 29 to 35 hour window from the time he picked her up in Fortville, Indiana, to the time he is leaving Perry County to go back to his Columbus home. These guys act fast, and they operate in panic. But fortunately, the FBI did find that he left a digital footprint, and he didn't cover all his tracks. So, like I said, was she the only one? I would venture to say absolutely not. We've talked about Gretchen Fleming at length, and I wholeheartedly believe he is involved in this. I don't think he's alone. I don't. I think Preston Pierce is behind this, and I've said all along I thought he was a human trafficker. We'll find out. But like I said, he was talking to a 10th grade girl on Discord, and he had a picture of a girl between 7 and 10 years old. So he probably was planning on moving from her to this other 10th grader. I don't know what high school she was from. I don't even know if she was from Indiana. It doesn't say. But like I said, he was using the app called Session. So this is how these predators operate, and you need to educate your kids on this stuff. You got to tell them, no Session, no Roblox, no League of Legends, no Discord, and no Snapchat. Now, how can you keep your kids off all 5 of those? You can't. But you got to educate them. You got to tell them the dangers. This is how these criminals operate. And he's not acting alone. He's not the only one doing this. So that's pretty much all I have on this case right now. I did think it was very odd that he met up with her June 5th at her restaurant. And you got to understand, he's 22 years older than her. She's underage. And then I think he said something about that he hoped she was 18 and she could go back to her parents because he thought she was still alive, but he was lying to investigators and they knew it. So, like I said, he hasn't yet been formally charged for murder. As it stands right now, he's looking at 60 years unless he would get off on good behavior somehow. That puts him at 99 years old. So you tack on the murder charge, he's not getting out of there. This is it. This is the last time Ty Thomas is ever going to strike fear into any women out there. And I know when one of our friends searched with me, and I don't know if you guys remember this. This has been 2.5 years ago, maybe. Yeah, because it was like June. And we were chased 15 miles by a black truck. And the woman, Chaos Girl, who searched with us, she was terrified of Ty Thomas back then. And back then, she said, yes, I'm hearing Ty Thomas is the one who murdered Gretchen and dropped her off in a barrel. And when we were pursued by that black truck in a high chase speed, she was scared, but she kept her composure enough to get away. But, I was with her on that. But that video, if you dig, it's on this channel under Friday Night Frights. You have to really go down. It says we were pursued in a high-speed chase or something like that. But I do want to talk a little bit before I wrap this up about the Chelsea Snyder account. And I told you guys I was 100% certain it was Preston. It looks like it is a woman running the account because she keeps taking pictures of her arms and stuff as she's holding Taylor Swift items. And there'll be a sweater like down here, so you can see her wrist and her hands. But it's weird. And you got to understand, I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of fake profiles by Preston Pierce. And somebody asked me, they're like, how do you know it's him running them? And I said, well, because when I call them out on video, he deletes them down. Either outright or deletes them down and takes like pictures and stuff off that I'm talking about. So this particular account, Chelsea Snyder, okay, let me preface it for you guys who don't know what I'm talking about because you can't see it because I'm on a live. She moved from El Paso, Texas to here. And I asked the question, why? Why would she move here? Apparently her mom, Jen Gross, is from Palestine, West Virginia. And I can't say for sure because this account has multiple lies on it. If this is Chelsea Snyder running it, I don't know. Is she working with Preston Pierce? She might be. I don't know. This is weird. Okay. because she's not using her profile picture. It's of some total stranger, and she's got a picture of the water again that Preston always does with two otters swimming on their backs, and her dad liked it. And she was in this Parkersburg group chat to where she said porch pirates were stealing her packages or something. And then somebody said, well, and she said, well, don't blast my location if you've figured out where I live. And the woman's like, well, why are you putting it out there? Why are you even putting this out there if you don't want anybody to know where you live? And then she deleted everything. But yet she's in this Taylor Swift group chat, which is weird as hell. She's 29 years old, posting Taylor Swift stuff. I don't know, is this normal for a 29-year-old woman to be this fascinated with Taylor Swift? That's all that's on this account now, is Taylor Swift. And she exchanged Swiftmas cards last year, in 2024, so two Christmases ago. And she showed all these Christmas card exchanges she got from all these women, and she said, but you have to send me your address. And this account was flagged for suspicious activity. She doesn't have her real face on there. You're lying with the picture on there. You've got the picture of the water with two otters on there, and her dad has liked it. That's what makes this even more weird, is like, if you're running a fake account, why is your dad liking this particular picture and nothing else on the account? And then she's got a LinkedIn profile, and it's got that same fake picture on there. It's not her. We've seen a picture of Chelsea Snyder. I know what she looks like. That picture is not her. And she lied on the LinkedIn saying she worked at Olive Garden in Parkersburg, West Virginia. It's not true. Somebody went there and asked if a Chelsea Snyder works there, and no, they said no, there is no Chelsea Snyder that works here. So why is she lying on her LinkedIn? Why is she lying on her Facebook? What was this big fascination with the Taylor Swift stuff? I don't know. I'm sheltered when it comes to this stuff, man. Is it normal for 29-year-old women to be that obsessed with her that they've got to get her CDs? And I mean, she's got a picture of it, autographed by Perry. I don't know. It's weird. The whole thing is weird. So I don't know. And then when Hailey Buzbee came up missing and the family said she's a Swiftie, I thought, well, maybe they got her address. So I still can't discount that. This could be in connection. It could be. It's weird. Because you got to ask, what is this woman hiding from? Why is she doing this, and why is she lying on her LinkedIn? It's just not normal. So, and then when you see Preston's fake accounts, because he's got many, they look just like this. So there's that. But like I said, with Ty Thomas and everybody saying that he was involved in Gretchen's disappearance, I just think there's a real connection with Preston Pierce. I still believe that wholeheartedly. So we're going to continue to dig. You know, okay, maybe it is a woman running this Facebook account. It doesn't necessarily mean she's not working with them. People have lost eyes on Preston Pierce. Nobody seems to know where he's at. I'm being told he hasn't been in the state for 2 years. I know that's a lie. Because he was in Huntington before his lease was up February 1st. You know, where did he go? If he's here, then we've got a big problem on our hands. But if he's not, you know, I was convinced he was here because we had this mystery man show up with this woman and nobody knew who they were. It's still weird. We still don't know who they are. But regardless, I'm going to try to dig more on Ty Thomas. We've got to go back in his past history. Some of you guys said that you've been jailed with him before, and he's not good news, but he's not going to terrorize anybody else. It just sucks that he got another one. I can guarantee you he's done this before, and he was going to strike again on that 10th grader. I can guarantee it, all but guarantee it. So that's all I got for right now. I'm going to continue to dig a little more. I'll try to get you guys up to speed on another live stream here in the next couple days and see what we can figure out. And maybe whether I've been able to touch base with FBI out in Cincinnati or something, I don't know. But it's not quite the hard lead I thought it was, but it's definitely still something, and it needs to be reported. They need to know about this, because I can tell you right now, I think he's involved with Gretchen. And if we can get in touch with them, they found Hailey really quick. Maybe they can find her. Maybe they can find Gretchen and put an end to this three plus year case. So that's all I've got right now. I'm going to put another video about this case with Ty Thomas and Hailey Buzbee with pictures so you guys know what I'm talking about. I'll try to get that done for you tomorrow. But thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. And if you need anything, just let me know. If you want me to update any videos or do a certain topic, just holler and I'll try to do it for you. All right, that's all I've got for now. Until next time, as always, Godspeed.